be a delay and I may have to mute people. But we have caller Charles from New York, pronouns he, him. You're on the hang up on the line. Welcome, sir.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, man.
Going pretty well.
Good. So I'm just going to get right into it. Matt Dillahunty, I've always been told by people to talk to you because basically growing up as a staunch theist, a lot of my atheist friends would tell me they would always cite you when I try to get into an argument with them. They'd always be like, "Oh yeah, call into Matt Dillahunty, call Matt Dillahunty." So never really happened. You're not on the ACA anymore, so.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still good. That delay, holy shit, that delay is crazy, man. Holy shit.
I don't think the delay's as long as you think it is, but go ahead.
All right, so I believe that atheism in and of itself is a substance belief because it is a rejection of an ideology, and a rejection of an ideology in and of itself is a belief.
No, it can be. So if you have so atheism takes two different forms. You could call it soft atheism, hard atheism, weak atheism, strong atheism. One of them is the state of not accepting theistic propositions, and that'd be the soft or weak one. I don't accept that. Just like I'm not convinced that Bigfoot is real, or I'm not convinced that there's a Loch Ness monster. The alternate version of atheism, or the stronger or harder version of atheism, is one where you assert that I am convinced, in fact, that gods don't exist, or I am convinced, in fact, that the Loch Ness monster doesn't exist. So that there's two different atheisms. One of them is a positive belief, and the other one isn't.
Okay, so what's agnostic then?
Agnostic.
That's not middle ground?
No, there's no middle ground between I believe and I do not believe. Those are two logically diverse prongs. So theism and atheism address belief, what you're convinced of. Gnosticism and agnosticism address knowledge. Knowledge is a subset of belief, and so you could be an agnostic theist, where you believe there's a God, but you're not claiming to know there's a God. And so if somebody says, are you convinced that there's a God? That's about belief. And generally speaking, even though we use justified true belief as a definition of knowledge, by and large, colloquially, when people say I know something, all they're saying most of the time is that I really, 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 really believe it. I believe something so strongly. So knowledge ends up being an expression of confidence, colloquially, and in epistemology, it is the result of an apparent justification. So in much the same way that if the claim is Matt killed someone, you are either convinced that Matt killed someone or you are not convinced that Matt killed someone. There is no middle ground and no other option. Those are the only two options.
Well, I mean, you treat religion like a virus, basically. Like the way you talk about it, I mean, how can there not be middle ground there?
Charles, I just went through an epistemologically sound and clear explanation of accepting or not accepting a proposition. And instead of saying, oh, that clears it up or that makes sense, instead you went on to an accusation that I treat religion like a virus and how can there not be a middle ground? So are we actually going to have a discussion about sound epistemology, or are you just going to ignore what I say and find a way to misrepresent what my position is?
I don't really think it's a misrepresentation. I mean, listen to how you talk about it. Listen to the way you're detailing everything in the words together. You hate religion. You hate the fact that there's a God.
What did I say? What did I say? What did I say just now in describing belief and acceptance and rejection that in any way treats religion like a virus?
Because your negativity towards it,
no, sir.
You hate that
there was no
You
negativity. I was describing just now a simple philosophical position that has nothing to do, by the way, with gods or religions. That's what I just did. And your response to that was to ignore everything that I said of substance and instead pretend that attacking me personally doesn't matter Let's assume for a second that I despise religion with every fiber of my being. How is that relevant to what I just discussed with regard to belief and knowledge?
Okay, well, it's not really relevant, but I feel like it kind of goes to my main
Congratulations.
point. You're
No.
always negative.
Congratulations.
You're raping nigger African babies. You're raping nigger African babies. You're raping nigger African babies.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we will delete that call. It won't go out in any future versions of this. And
Wow.
moving on.
Okay.
I suspected. So there are certain styles of speech that over the last 18 plus years, I've gotten kind of used to. And when someone calls in and has a particular subject that they want to address, and if you address it clearly, and they then use some deflection or, let's make this personal or whatever else, when it's very obvious that they're cornered, that's the kind of thing that will happen. And the saddest thing for me, apart from let's just go to, vicious, racist hatred stuff, is I don't know, and neither does anybody else, whether that's a theist caller who was just outmatched or an atheist caller who decided to be a troll. And you know what? I don't really care, because there's terrible, shitty people both within and without a religion. So I'm glad we didn't have to have you address any of that at all. But
wow. Yeah. Thanks.
yeah, let's get a caller in who, while not a theist, has a statement or question that might be good for you to address.
Okay.
Roger in Colorado, pronouns are he, him. Welcome to the Hang Up on the Line.
Hello.
What's up,
How you
Roger?
doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, how are you, gentlemen?